Greetings. That's the way I say hi. Hello. Here's a piece of paper, a pad of things, notes. Let's talk about, there's the camera. Look at the camera. Let's talk about focusing on progress in accomplishing goals rather than getting caught up in what might not seem like it's working. So, you have a goal. Here's where you are, here's where you want to be. And well, that's where you started. And so you're somewhere along here, not quite there. Along the way, there's things that go right to help you, or like things that are helping move you in the direction, I don't want to say right and wrong, but things that move you in the direction of your end goal, and things that maybe either take you in a different direction or hold you back from your end goal. There's a prism in the window, and it's rotating around, and you can see it in the back on the wall there. That's going to be distracting to somebody. So rather than worry about the things that aren't going right, let's talk about focusing on what is going right, because that will help you to accomplish your goals, is my supposition. That's what I'm arguing here, is that by doing that, you'll get your goals faster. Okay, so why? Let's talk about it. If we are focused on the things that aren't going right, or the things we feel aren't going right, or are keeping us from accomplishing our goal, or we're just not accomplishing the goal fast enough, I think that's probably the most common thing, is that we want it done now. But it doesn't work that way. Sometimes. Usually. It takes some time to get there. We have to practice the change in our life before we can get to the total change. We have to practice changing our life to get to the completed change, which is the goal, is what we want. Something to be complete. And it takes time to get there. And so when it's not happening fast enough, we get depressed. Or when we find too many setbacks, we get depressed. Or we get frustrated. We start to judge ourselves and start to think we're not worthy of doing it, we're not capable of doing it, we're not good enough, all of these things. And all that works to demotivate us and slow us down, instead of what we want, it's to accelerate the accomplishment. When we lose our motivation, then we stagnate a little bit. Think of motivation, momentum. So it's our choice whether or not we focus on the things that are going right or the things that are going wrong. And I've seen on the social medias, I've seen this little thing, this little story. It says, the teacher comes into the classroom and writes on the blackboard, 7 times 1 equals 9, 7 times 2 equals 14, 7 times 3 equals 21, and so forth. 10 different 7 times things equals whatever. And when she's finished, the kids are laughing at her, and they say, you messed up. You got the first one wrong. She says, yeah, you dummies. No, she didn't say that. She says, yes, I got the first one wrong, but I did it on purpose to show you that I had 10 equations I wrote down. I got one wrong, and that's the only thing that all of you saw. You focused on that, and you laughed at me. But I continued to do the other 9 right. And so sometimes in life, everyone around you is going to hyper-focus on the thing that didn't go as planned, but you still got to go through and accomplish what you need to do, or something. I don't know if I've read to the complete end of it, but that's the gist of it that I take. But it's relevant here, so I'll just scoop it for that. And so if you are the one who's focusing on the thing you got wrong, then if you get hung up in that and start judging yourself, you might not be able to get through and do the rest of the way correctly. In this example of, so say there's 10 math equations and you get the first one wrong, and then you're so hung up on the fact you got that one wrong, you can't get the other ones right. That's what we're talking about here. If that becomes your focus, then you lose your momentum, your motivation, right? All right. So I think that's a good story to illustrate this point. Another thing, so I had this conversation with a client recently, and about feeling like progress wasn't happening fast enough or at all. And so I said, are you doing your best? The answer was, I think so. I'm trying. Okay. So my next question was, if your child comes up to you, and this could be your child, your friend, whoever, someone comes up to you and says, I failed my goal, but I did the best I could. I gave it all my full effort, did the best I could, and I didn't accomplish it. What do you say to them? Do you say, you're stupid, you're dumb, you're worthless, you're incapable, I knew you were going to fail? Well, if you say those things, you're a jerk. You're not a very helpful, friendly person. Probably if you love this person, you care about this person, you're probably going to say, well, did you do your best? Yeah? Well, then that's all you can do, right? That's the best you can do is your best, so you gave it your all. And now, That's the same thing we got to be telling ourselves. Am I giving it my best? Am I trying? If I'm trying, then what else can I want from myself? Now again, do or do not, there is no try. Thank you, Yoda. And that's relevant in some contexts. I don't put it relevant here. I guess I get to pick and choose that, or I'm gonna act like I do. But if we're giving it our, I guess the point of that is that you can't try. You either do it or you don't. And so if you're doing your best, even if you think in your mind, I'm trying, well, that's you doing your best. That's what it means. So if you're doing your best, then how can you get upset about that? How can you judge yourself? Wouldn't you, if you care about yourself, wouldn't you tell you, way to go, you did your best, keep going. You will learn over time. You'll practice it. Don't judge yourself for not knowing what you didn't know, or don't judge yourself for not being able to do what you can't do yet. So take some time, be patient, and practice it. But focus on the things that are going right. And so sometimes I think we need to separate the end goal from what we're doing right now. So rather than like, and they talk about this, like, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? Slow down your speaking. Slow it down. So how do you eat an elephant? You eat it one bite at a time. You can't swallow the whole thing whole. But if you were to chop it up, which is just gross. But I mean, I guess, how do you eat because you don't, it's gross because you don't want to eat the whole elephant. So the literal nature of that thing is just disgusting in that regard. But I was gonna say, how to eat a 7-pound burrito? Well, you do it one bite at a time, unless you're Matt Stoney, when you kind of just like swallow it like a boa constrictor. I guess there's a caveat for everything, an exception to every rule, right? But so something about, look at it in increments rather than the whole picture. Look at it in the incremental steps to get there, and then you can track your progress as you go along, and then that will motivate you. And so in that idea is, count the steps you've taken rather than the steps that are left to take. So you look back at all that you've done, and you realize that you're closer now than you've ever been before. So I was reminded of like doing a hike up a mountain, and you're getting close to the top and thinking, I don't want to do this anymore. This is not comfortable. This isn't fun. But then you look back down at all that you've accomplished, all of the ground you've already traveled, and you think, wow, I've done all that. If I'm capable of doing that, I can do this next part. Or I can keep going. I still have some energy left. Now, sometimes you don't if you're walking up a hill, but metaphorically or figuratively in our lives, if you need to take a rest, you take a rest. And then once you're rested, you continue on. And so maybe that's the point. If you're feeling like there's too many setbacks, or you're feeling like there's too much struggle, or you're failing too much along the path to your goal, maybe that means it's time to take a rest and recuperate. Remember, if you're lifting weights and you lift every day, eventually you fail because your body can't repair itself. So you do a few days of exercise and then you take a day off, or every other day. You work a certain muscle group and then you rest it, and then you work it again and then you rest it. If you constantly work that same muscle group every day, you're going to fatigue it, you're going to destroy it, you're going to hurt it, and then you'll lose all your gains, all your progress. So rest is an important part in goal accomplishment as well. But focusing on the progress, looking at all of the things you've done, helps to remind you that you're capable, remind you of all the work you've accomplished. It can be motivational, which equals momentum, and whatever else I just said before I started listing things on my fingers that was off screen and you couldn't see me doing it, but whatever else I was saying. So that's my thoughts on that, and that's it then. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.